Hello and welcome to this quick update video. It is about this stuff here. This is the FPV Combat System. Now, I looked at this earlier last year. I got a couple of these units in, and me and my friend have been flying them and having a whale of fun. It's basically laser tag for your models, and in here there is a control board, there are some sensors that go on your model that detects when you've been hit, and there's also like a little infrared gun that has like low and high powers. Now, I've got these two in here because to be honest, I found that the more people that are flying with the system, the better, and I want to build some more models, and one of these is actually for a friend of mine as well, to have more fun with it as we're getting into the better weather. However, talking to Matteo, the guy behind FPV Combat, there are some updates. I'm going to put links below to his video where he covers all of this stuff in a lot more detail. But I thought it would be useful to give you a bit of a heads up. There's an awful lot of new stuff coming. Some new products from him, first of all, is a 20 addressable LED stick that's controlled by FPV Combat. On there is also a couple of infrared sensors, so that means that you can connect it to the system, and those LEDs will show you the status and what's going on, and also give you another place on the model that you can detect shots. He's also created a higher power driver, because there's two versions of the board. There's this one that I have here that's inside things like my Atom RC Dolphin, but there's also the micro version as well, and the micro versions that I had before, I ended up doing those as a prize draw, so hopefully whoever got those is having fun with those. The issue with the micro ones is they are really designed for indoor flying. So the infrared guns that are on them aren't using the same high power drivers, so that you can't get the same range. However, this little board that's available now allows you to do that. So if you have the micro board, but you're struggling to get the range, maybe you're flying it outdoors, it's a particularly small model, then this small micro high-powered driver for the micro boards will fix that for you and allow you to use the guns from the bigger kit. Couple of big bits of news though. The first is that he has also developed a Pyro Board. This allows you to connect quite a few pyro things onto the model and then have them triggered by the FPV Combat System. So you can maybe have some sparkles or smoke or whatever it is. So when you are struck, it'll pop the smoke and you'll be trailing that across the sky. Now, this was something that I did on in conjunction with Channel 4 several years ago. So it's kind of fun that this is available now with modern hobby grade electronics. The real important thing about this is that these boards are quite tricky to create, because what you have to do is make sure that when you power the system, there isn't a brief momentary bit of power that leaks out into the electric matches and things that then set off the pyro. You have to have lots of fail safes so that you can both plug the pyro in, but also that you can power the system without it going off when it's right by the side of you. So that's all been sorted out. So if you fancy actually having smoke or sparkles when you're hit or your opponent's hit, that is now available with this optional board. Matteo is also working on a number of firmware updates for the system, and I'm watching those very closely. He is very good at coming out and talking to pilots and asking what they're interested in. Personally, for me, I've wanted a much finer font. The one that's there in the current version is a little bit blocky, and it kind of obscures what's going on. So hopefully that will be included in the firmware updates and give some configurability too. You are going to need an FTDI adapter in order to flash it onto the board. There's no USB adapter on these boards, but if you get an FTDI adapter, and FTDI adapters are cheap as chips, then it's something you can do. When the firmware comes out, I'll show you how to do it on one of mine here. Last couple of bits of news. I've been pressing Matteo to integrate the system a lot more closely into the DJI HD system using MSP telemetry, so that the same kind of information that you get in the analog system can be displayed in the DJI HD stuff too. And he is working on it, which I'm very pleased about. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but it's definitely on the roadmap. So I've got my fingers crossed that comes some point this year so we can enjoy it in the summer. Because doing combat in HD, it just means that you can kind of spot and acquire your pal that you're trying to run down in a particular field that you're flying in a lot faster with HD, and it just looks an awful lot clearer. It's a very different experience. Last big bit of news is there is a get-together for FPV Combat Pilots that's been announced. That's the 13th to the 17th of July in Model City. Now, I'll put links to all of this down below so you can go and have a look. It isn't a free event, you buy tickets, but if you are an FPV Combat and you have a bit of time between the 13th and the 17th of July and you want to fly with lots of other pilots and get together as a community, this is available too. So I just wanted to share this with you and let you know what's going on with this. I'm pleased that this has been continued to develop and been upgraded. This is probably one of the most fun things that came out for me last year, and I'm looking forward to the weather improving so that I can get out there and we can do some more FPV combat here. Thank you for spending your time today watching that video. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you're trying to learn about a subject, then check out the playlist. All of my videos are organized into easy to follow playlists that if you're trying to learn a topic will take you from the basics right the way through to some pretty advanced stuff.